Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Anime Academia. I'm your host, Shellback TJC. My my close, my co-host, Close Call Kid.
That's a mouthful.
And we're gonna talk about Inuyasha the movie Dose. And I'm really liking this series.
Yeah.
And it it really cracked me up. The way they do, like, their humor and stuff. It's like they you know they the two main characters, Inuyasha and
Kagome.
Kagome. Yeah, thank you. They're always like arguing at each other, but in this movie, though, we actually get to see them, kind of get together, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, don't go full demon. I love you and all this stuff. And of course, at the end, they're all like, they're all denying it and stuff. It's like, well, I only said it because of this and yada yada yada. But
they both got to put on a tough guy act.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But the the bad guys, though, in this one were, they're pretty good.
Well, and I mentioned last week that normally in Inuyasha where they're dealing with Naraku, who's the guy you saw in the beginning.
And, like the spider guy.
Yeah, well, he's like a weird sort of like infinite demon of some sort.
Yeah.
Don't want to say he's immortal, but somehow he keeps coming back.
Right.
So
yeah, because I mean, this time he was like living like a parasite off of Sanjo.
Sango's brother.
Sango.
Like,
yeah, he was living like a parasite inside of Sango's brother, and it's like, what the? Yeah. I mean,
he's like a roach, man. You gotta, even if you cut off his head, he finds a way.
Right. But I mean, they had him as a bad guy, so like they're fighting him, but they're also fighting the other chick, who just so happens to, like, the two bad guys, the two baddies, they actually have beef with each other, so they're like, they're fighting each other, and it's it was crazy, man. It was really crazy. But
the enemy of your enemy is your friend,
right?
But not necessarily in this case.
Yeah. Well, in the like the speaking of which, I don't have to look. The gal who's like dead, but she's not dead, or whatever.
Oh, I don't know her name. Yeah, she's in the series a lot. I should know her name, but it's hard enough trying to remember everyone else's names because
she's like a soul
Naraku, Moroku.
No, I'm
not
sure. I think it's Moroku. But she's like the Soul Reaper chick, and
or are we talking about Kikyo, or are you talking about the bad guy?
No, I'm talking about the one that looks like Kagome. She reminds you of Kagome,
Yeah, that's Kikyo. She's the other priestess, right? The one walking around with the like weird souls.
The one that has like she goes Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A soul.
Sorry, because
soul
the other girl that's on the bad side, she's technically not alive, not dead.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, so Kikyo.
I mean, she came across the one bad gal, um, who had that had her little companion holding the mirror, and she gave her like this um, cup or whatever, and and she's like, why are you helping me? And I was like, well, isn't this what you want? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is she helping the bad guys? But later on, you find out, I don't know whether if I'd say it was self-serving, but it's almost like she gave her the cup because she knew that this is like she knew this thing had to play out, you know. Is why I think that she gave her the cup, so she could complete her goal or whatever. But
yeah, Kikyo's kind of indifferent to a lot of the things that go on throughout the series. She's neither bad nor good. She both is in love with Inuyasha, but also is not in love with Inuyasha. So
yeah,
it gets complicated,
right? But and again, speaking of which, when the bad lady was like, "Come on, Inuyasha, this is what you want. This is what you wanted, was to become full demon. Let go and become a full demon." And Kagome is like, she's like, "No, don't do it. I love you just the way you are." And like, so that whole theme, I think, is I think that's kind of an ongoing thing or whatever, throughout the series. Is the message of be who you are, or like be the best version of who you are, instead of trying to be something else that that you're not quite are, or whatever. But I thought that was cool. The and but they like her castle or whatever that's in the lake. It's in the lake, but it's not in the lake. But I mean, boy, they tore that place up. I mean, that was. But they kind of psyched me out though, a little bit, because Inuyasha shows up to fight her, and it was all an illusion. Like he hadn't he actually hadn't gotten up there yet. It was just like one big fake out, for Kagome's sake. But I mean, the real fight, like when they really got up there, that was pretty good stuff. Like I said, the brother was up there, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, it's like, I don't feel so good, and he's like, just kind of like sitting there, and then all of a sudden this freaking thing just starts growing out of his back, and it was the freaking big bad spider dude. And
that's how he does.
But instead of going after them, he's like, now I'm finally here, and he's like, he was there he was there to fight the sorceress lady, you know. But yeah, it's cool. It's been a cool show, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the movie so far. You have yet to get to the show.
Right? You know, I'm I'm pretty sure I'm doing this in in reverse order. But
I mean, I think I kind of do that with all my movies and shows, especially lately. I don't know why, but maybe I'll see a clip on Facebook, or I used to walk in on my parents watching a movie, and it'll be right in the middle, and then I'll be like, "Oh, hey, cool, that's interesting." And then later on in life, I'll I'll watch the beginning of the movie finally, or I'll start at the first part of the show, or watching all of these movies, and then like everything ties together. So I kind of satiate my confusion, and I come to closure with whatever it was that I was watching, wondering if I'll ever watch it again. So I think if you're gonna watch the movies first and then watch the show, you'll be like, oh, so that's what this is, or that's what that does, and you'll have a better understanding. Because sometimes you'll get in the middle of a show and then you're like, well, why do they do that? What does it benefit them, or what's this situation? How long is it going to go on for? There's a whole bunch of questions you ask yourself at the beginning, and I think that kind of turns you off. So for you, we're saying, you're interested in it now. So I think you're more likely to kind of stick through it, or anyone would be, be able to stick through watching the entire show if they know kind of the gist of everything.
What? I really need to have somebody help me take a look at this stinking laptop. I don't know whether it's my laptop being stubborn, or my internet, or both.
What's it doing?
But I just it just takes its it just takes its sweet ass time doing stuff.
Yeah, could be the computer, or it could be the laptop, could be the internet.
But yeah, the Kagura. I think Kagura was the bad sorceress lady, I think. But it's but yeah, like the whole again, like the whole feudal era, feudal Japan era that this show is based on. It's I've always liked that premise or whatever.
Yeah.
I've always liked, like King Arthur type stuff, and like Dungeons and Dragons type stuff and all that, and but that's basically what feudal Japan, or that stuff, the stories, from
the
that
folklore
era
and all that
are basically, just the Japanese version of Dungeons and Dragons type stuff.
Hey, they're slaying dragons too.
King Arthur and all that.
Yeah.
But which they had some of that in 47 Ronin. Maybe that's part of why I like that movie.
Yeah, yeah. All of those creatures and powers have all been passed down through stories.
A freaking giant pig the size of a bus,
or the Tengu.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah. But I don't know what I know I think you said it might have been a while since you watched this movie, but like what were some of your more favorite aspects of it.
Well, right away I kind of noticed. I know how last week I said it's the same formula. In any anime movie, you always have the same formula where the credits are our main characters defeating some giant, almost seemingly unstoppable monster, and us as the viewers are just being like, if you're a first time viewer, being like, what's this about? Oh, they work together, they have these abilities, they use them to defeat their people, which is basically what's going on. But I thought it was really interesting. This time, they start off with Inuyasha in his human form, and I had almost slipped my mind that that's a thing that happens to him because he is half demon. According to the folklore, demons sometimes they don't have as much power during times.
I noticed that he was, he had his, dark hair and
Yeah.
regular, he didn't have the dog ears and
Yep.
all
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So evidently, they mentioned it in the beginning where it was a moonless night. So that's one of the times where Inuyasha doesn't have his demon powers. Is when he moonless nights, and I think sometimes when he's in the human world, which is another interesting thing too, because he can actually travel to the human world, which it's hilarious because anyone else would freak out because they're from feudal Japan and now they're in the modern world, but Inuyasha kind of treats it the same way he treats everything, where you piss me off, but I won't do anything about it until it bothers me, kind of deal. So it's always fun seeing him in the human world, and Kagome's got to try and hide him from everyone else, or she has to try and explain who he is. And that's been in a few episodes, a bunch of different movies. I like when they throw it in every once in a while, but I think he looks really cool in his human mode. You don't see that a lot, so and
Yeah.
I feel like he is kind of not just vulnerable being his physical form, but also kind of vulnerable emotionally, because he is, in my opinion, being human does come with those kinds of feelings, and I kind of think that's where he does get those ideations with Kagome, where they do have their little moments because
Right.
he is part human. So it's always fun seeing him that way. And then I like how they kind of connected the feudal world and the present world with her friend's ancestor, that guy who they're traveling with.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool because it reminds me, because whenever sometimes you just pop it into an episode and they're going around feudal Japan, but you don't know it's feudal Japan because every single episode is them in feudal Japan. So they kind of remind you that, hey, she is traveling through time, and this is
Yeah.
another world to them. So it kind of pops up like that, which is it's pretty fun. Everything else kind of basic anime story. Villain comes to power. Villain gets what they want. Main characters work together and dig deep and defeat them. So
Well,
that's
it's kind of the hero, the hero's journey,
yeah,
type of thing, and that it works, man.
yeah.
I love me, I love that type of deal, I mean, I'm sure that's one of the reasons why, why I like the, original Star Wars trilogy so much,
Hmm.
because, that was the premise, for that, the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought it was funny when that, the keeper of the sacred robe or whatever it was,
The celestial robe.
yeah, and he looks just like he looks just like the guy in the modern times and
Yeah.
all. It's just it's funny, and I don't know what I don't know if the guy in modern day is a quote unquote klutz. but the the feudal guy, boy, he was always like tripping and stuff. It's like,
Getting himself into trouble.
but he's like, yeah, but I gotta take this robe up to the volcano and throw it into the volcano, and it's like, dude, you can't even take 2 steps without falling on, stumbling over a rock or something.
I'm gonna end up
But
throwing himself into the volcano.
yeah, right. He's like, wow. But yeah, which so like oh, Naraku. So like Naraku, well, we're gonna see him again. Hey Tommy, thanks for coming on, showing up, whatever. So Naraku, escapes in this one, so I'm sure we'll see him again.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Does he have some sort of a mental hold or a spell or whatever on Sango's brother? Because I noticed when he escaped through that little portal or whatever that Sango's brother went with him.
I think they are connected. I don't know off the bat. Let me see if I can look something up. Where is he? They do have a connection. That's kind of the reason behind his whole like vendetta against him, because not only did he destroy his village, where is? Oh, it's another page.
Yeah, we're not talking about that though, Tommy. Well, we know everybody has issues, but it's whether or not they're entertaining or issues or not. But and this show has entertaining issues, okay. But yeah, I well,
Kohaku is his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He is under a spell, because I remember there were some episodes where he's actually collecting the shards for him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Naraku. I think he has him under a spell through the shards. He has a shard himself somewhere. I can't remember.
Well, it kind of looks like he has some sort of injury, some sort of scar or whatever on his back.
Yeah.
Where Naraku kind of rebirthed himself out of.
Well, you don't walk away from that unscathed.
Yeah. But the another one of the side characters, was that Hachiman or whatever, like that fat raccoon looking character.
Oh yeah, that's Tanuki.
It cracked me up because old Moroku was like, yeah, I need you to go with me, and the guy's like, I don't want to go. He's like, come take a walk with me, and then you hear him beating the crap out of him.
I've decided
and
to.
the old guy was like, he was like, well, okay.
Sure, whatever you say, completely
but
voluntarily of your own free will.
But yeah, and then they come back, to talk to the old man some more, and he was he was all on board to go with Moroku after that. I'm like, I was like thinking, I was like, there are a lot of parents that need to see this show. Okay, like all those parents out there that are like, that are like anti-spanking or whatnot. I'm like, no, like you need to take a couple of hints from this show, people.
Right.
But,
For an anime so steeped in spiritual folklore and celestial folklore, it's funny how unafraid these people are of demons. Their spirit is supposed to be, fierce and menacing, but because of their occupations, basically they're demon slayers. They're in essence they're exorcists. Except the demons, are here on Earth, so there's no body to exorcise them from. But yeah, I beat up demons. That should be the message to all those people so afraid of the devil.
yeah, I don't know. The I know that the dialogue and stuff cracks me up too. It's like, oh, you're just a half demon, and I'll take care of you real quick, and then it's like, whoa, you're more powerful than what I assumed.
Oh, yeah. They try to warn them.
Yeah. But or like when you just when you think that they got beat, they come back, which I guess is a good thing, because if the hero dies, then the show would be over and everybody would be sad. But
yes.
but yeah, and kind of getting back to Inuyasha and Kagome's relationship again. The sorcerer lady kind of like had Inuyasha like all tied up, right? And goes to shoot him with an arrow, and Kagome takes it for him. She jumps out there and takes the arrow, and you're like, uh-oh. I'm like, what? I'm like, are they gonna kill Kagome? And but that that celestial, sacred celestial robe or whatever, kind of got in between them, and like the arrow goes through the robe before it hits her in the back, and I guess that supposedly that's what saved her, or at least helped save her from actually dying. From that.
Mythical items do that in these type of shows.
But yeah, it's and again, they show us stuff like that, and then before the show's over, they're all like arguing at each other because they they don't want to admit like their true feelings or whatnot. But,
we all saw it though. We know.
Yeah. But I don't do the movies like coincide with like particular seasons, of like the regular show, or
So
was it all the show and then they just had 4 movies afterwards?
so there's a term we use in the anime world called canon, and I'm sure they use it in storytelling world too. But
Yeah.
anything that you see on the show is considered canon.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about something that happened in the show affecting the next episode, that's canon. A
Mm.
lot of movies are non-canon, but in some instances, what they'll do is they will put them in kind of an order where last time we saw them, they were on an island somewhere, and then in the movie they're still on the same island that they were in the last episode. Um, I know, actually, My Hero Academia, the first movie that they did, Heroes Rising,
Mm-hmm.
both in the anime and in the manga, they tied into each other. There was like a note saying, "Hey, let's go to this island," and then in the movie, they reminded everyone that were watching that, "Hey, in the last episode, we were saying we were coming to this island," and then at the end of the movie, they were like, "All right, let's all go back to school," and then in the next episode, they were like, "Boy, we had fun on that island, didn't we?" So it's surprising, but sometimes they will write that into canon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there are movies, I think, like Dragon Ball, the whole Dragon Ball series, those movies, they were all non-canon. So anything that happened, nobody would ever mention it. And anytime us anime geeks would be like, "Well, what about that one time?" No, it's not canon. That didn't really happen. We're talking about the real series. You want to talk to a movie, go find a forum where they talk about the movie. But if you're talking about the series, then no, that didn't happen.
uh,
So yeah, this
uh,
this is just it. It
right,
happens after a certain time. I think there was actually
right.
something in a website that I saw.
But I mean, my question is, do the movies go along with like a particular season, or what, or was the TV show, the regular episodes, did they all come uh did they all come before all of the movies? Like they had all the episodes and then they made 4 movies, or did they make season
Okay.
one and then have movie number one, and season two and movie number two,
Yeah.
that type of thing?
So
Because
uh,
I haven't looked that up myself, but
yeah, I saw it here on this website. So they did come between the episodes. So I guess the first movie we saw was after I guess season one,
hmm,
episode 1 through 54. So 54 episodes for season one.
no.
And then after the first movie, it was another 54 episodes.
Hmm,
Or no, not 54, but I don't know how to do math. Is that 45?
yeah.
From between episode 55 and 95. And then after that is this movie.
Hmm,
And then 96 to 136. After 136, it's the third movie.
hmm,
And then 137 and
okay.
167 is the fourth. How many movies did you say there were?
I've found 4.
Okay,
If
yeah.
I don't, if there's a fifth movie, I haven't seen it or heard about it or whatever.
I forgot, there are things called OVA, which is not really canon either. It's more filler. OVA is for
Hmm,
the anime, or yeah, for the animes, what filler is to manga. And basically, it's basically the a short story between other stories where
yeah.
it gives the writer time to put other stories together or set something up, or to just hold us over because the writer wasn't feeling good this one day and now we have to wait 2 weeks for the next episode instead of 1 week.
Hmm.
So
Right on. So okay, so cool. It sounds like we got a movie uh for each season or
yeah.
whatever. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if they have the episodes for free uh here on YouTube like they do the movies, but I'll have to check into that. But
I might just give you a login for my Funimation because we watch. Well, I have a Funimation account, and they have all the movies and shows on there. Most of them, anyway.
I don't know. Hey, whatever's clever.
Yeah.
But anywho, I know that Lorena is having a 2,000 subscriber celebration, where she had made a promise to somebody that if she made it to 2,000 subscribers, that she would do the stream in a cheerleader outfit. So I'd like to get over there for that.
I bet you would. Yeah.
And so Tommy, and I don't know if anybody else has been here, but I invite anyone to follow us over there. And with that, I'm gonna say until next time, fair winds and following seas.
Yeah.